Hello everybody, it's Calxiyn here. So today we have another paid Patreon video. This one is from Tally again. Tally is giving us all of our videos this week. Tally's making our job real easy here. So today we are going to be talking about Adam, our favorite son of a bitch. Anyway.
Oh, you're being honest.
Oh well.
Wow.
So, Tally has this theory about Adam, and she didn't actually give it to me. Like, she didn't give me the written version of it, and I can't find her now. So we're just gonna go ahead and guess, kind of. Like, I have an idea of what she meant. So basically, her theory is that, let's go off the Disney movie of Beauty and the Beast, just so we're clear, that Adam is actually the rose in Beauty and the Beast, like the enchanted rose that, like, falls apart as the Beast grows older. Because the Beast can't find love. If you guys haven't watched Beauty and the Beast, like, I don't know what to do with you, so there's that. So, why is he the rose, Hunter? Can you take a guess?
A guess on why he's a rose?
Yeah. Just aesthetically. Let's imagine.
Aesthetically,
he has a
probably
giant fucking rose on his back. That looks like the Beauty and the Beast rose. It does, because it has a stem, and it has the rose part. Like, it looks different from Ruby's actual rose, and it leans in the same direction as the one from Beauty and the Beast. So that could have been a 50-50 chance, I guess. Well, no, because it could have been straight up. It could have been one side or the other. So it was a third. You know, that might be important.
That, and maybe his father was no longer allowed at the botanical gardens, if you know what I mean.
No, I don't.
He was fucking roses.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, see? I'm smart.
Alright, good job.
Okay.
The other reason is because Adam, when he attacks, he glows red, and if you guys remember the rose from Beauty and the Beast, that rose also has a pink glow to it. And so that's kind of important aesthetically again. We've kind of seen that they've taken inspiration from Beauty and the Beast before. They said they wanted to surround Blake with bell-like objects when they introduced her. They wanted to put her by a candlestick for Lumiere, and I think there was another object. I think it was a book, yeah, something like that. And that's pretty much like a Disney movie exclusive thing. Like in the Grimm's fairy tales, she didn't really read all that much. Like that wasn't really mentioned. She was not a educated woman, you know what I mean?
Most women at
the time, Hunter.
Most women at the time weren't educated. Irony. Go on, please.
Anyway, so aesthetically, we already have some details that make Adam seem like the rose from Beauty and the Beast. So what about just like in the context of the show? So basically, what happened is an enchantress went to the Beast house one night and was like, knock knock motherfucker, you're getting this rose because I hate you. That's basically what happened. And anyway, it was gonna bloom until the 21st year of the Beast, and the Beast had to find someone to love him or earn love in return, or else they would stay a beast forever. So what does all that mean? Well, at the beginning, we kind of know Blake is a little bit like antisocial at the school. She's very sarcastic. She doesn't seem to want to stick around, even though RWBY thanks her for sticking up to her. She obviously doesn't really like Weiss. She kind of, like, the first time she sees Weiss, she's like, oh, that company that uses fawn's labor with its questionable business practice, you know what I mean? Like, she's sassy. She's sassy, and it's not in a fun-loving way. Like, she's very hostile the first time that we see her, with good reason, alright? But she's also very hostile. She is kind of like the Beast in that way. You know, when you see the Beast at the beginning of the movie, he's very angry. Like, he has a lot of, anger in him. He likes to yell at people a lot, and I'm pretty sure we see Blake a couple times. First, she yells at Weiss. She doesn't really yell at anybody after that, but she doesn't seem too impressed by, Yang and RWBY bothering her, and all that stuff. I don't remember the second time where she yells at someone. I think it was probably when Weiss was saying that everybody in the White Fang were terrorists and stuff. She kind of lost her temper. Like, I wouldn't say that Blake is as temperamental as the Beast from Beauty and the Beast, but she definitely kind of shows those traits. And before you guys are like, but wait, she's Belle. I think that it can be interchangeable. I think that it could possibly be both. I know for Tally's theory, it was Yang is the Beast and Blake is Belle, which I do prefer better, but at the same time, listening to the actual lyrics from the RWBY soundtrack, it is Blake that comes from the shadows and kind of the darkness. And if you guys watch Beauty and the Beast, the first time Belle meets the Beast, it's when he comes into the light, when he comes from shadows, you could say. And so I think that it's compelling on both sides. But obviously Yang is the one that kind of has a temper problem, but she never actually takes that out on Blake, as far as I can remember from the show. Like, she doesn't yell at her teammates. I think the only time when she gets kind of upset is when, you know, they don't believe her when they say that Mercury attacked first. That's the only time where she really gets kind of mad, but she never loses her temper like the Beast, whereas Blake actually goes and yells at Weiss, like, full out, like, I don't remember what she says, but you guys know what I mean. She has the temper
a bit
part.
Of a blowout.
She's also a faunist, right? And so she's seen as a beast by other people. The Beast in the movie was a weird mix of a buffalo and a cat, like a tiger and a bunch of these things, a lion, you know. But Blake is a cat faunist, so that it does kind of remind me of the movie a little bit, just because the Beast kind of has cat elements to him. But he was a combination of a bunch of animals, so. Anyway, for that, I think it's also that she could be the Beast in looks as well, I guess, because she is one of the faunest characters. So I guess that's all about Blake. Am I compelling you so far, Hunter?
Sure. I mean, I think you're not the first to maybe go off on the whole Blake is kind of like Belle thing. However...
But this is different. This is about Adam bringing them together, and I'm getting to that. Okay. So, then, let's switch it for a minute. I think we can both easily see why Blake is then Belle. So let's say that Yang is the Beast instead. I think that's pretty obvious. Blake defends... the Beast defends Belle from a pack of wolves in the movie. He ends up getting injured. His arm gets all torn up, and that's actually the same arm, I think, as the one. If you look at it like side by side, I think it's the same arm on the same side as well. It's always always that goddamn side. So I think it's the same. You know, her semblance is all about her being strong. She loses her temper a lot. Like, within kind of the first couple episodes we see her, she's like, can everybody just shut up before something crazy happens? You remember that, right? That was kind of more of a playful sort of thing. But even still, you guys know what I mean. And so it's all, like, you guys can see how it's both sides. Do I really need to explain how they can both be the other characters? Because I think the only one I really needed to explain was Blake, for a case of Blake being the Beast, just because I think that's not as popular. Like, a lot of people do consider her as Belle, but remember that Monty originally planned for RWBY to be Little Red Riding Hood, but also the wolf. You know what I mean? So I feel like that as much as the characters are supposed to be kind of, I guess, the good fairy tale characters, they can also turn and be the bad fairy tale characters. Like, I would love to see a portrait of Weiss, and then the other half of Weiss be her evil queen self, if we could find that. Because you know that Weiss, you know, she has an evil queen sort of personality. I like to see that half and half graphic.
Would you like to also plug your DeviantArt page from 2008? No? No? Okay.
Anyway, yeah, I don't know who's gonna make that. Maybe I will, with some Photoshop tools. But anyway, you know what I mean? Like, all of the characters kind of have the villain of their story, but also the hero. And not that the Beast is the villain, but he's definitely the antagonizer for a little while. You know, villain and antagonist aren't necessarily the same thing, and the Beast is temporarily sort of against Belle for part of the movie, so we can, yeah. So now we talked about both of them in both scenarios. I don't really care which one it is. I like Blake being the Beast better, personally. It kind of makes more sense for this theory. So how is Adam the Rose? Well, we can't say for certain yet, but based on kind of what we've seen so far, what Yang is kind of planning and what Blake is planning, to take over the White Fang, and Yang to kind of go kick Adam's ass. I think that's gonna be her endgame, sort of. And with the Bumblebee song and other things that have kind of happened this week, what I think is that Adam is the Rose because he, even if it is bringing them together in friendship, he is kind of uniting them in some way, sort of like the Rose. And then after they do unite in some way, they will be stronger and the curse will be broken, if that makes sense. Because you have, I guess I'll put it this way, in the movie they both kind of assist in killing Gaston, if you guys remember that, and that's when they find out that they love each other and the spell's broken and everything. And so I think that this time, though, it'll be that they defeat Adam and the spell will be broken of Blake being a beast. Like, she'll finally be able to start really trusting people again and be able to open herself up to those relationships. Because, you know, we've seen Adam, we know he's abusive, we don't know to what capacity, but we know that that can definitely cause some issues, like some trust issues and stuff like that. So I think that the curse in this case would be kind of that Blake can't easily trust others and stuff similar to that. So I think that even if it's not a romantic sense like the Beauty and the Beast, I think that it will be in a more, you know, there will be some kind of union that helps them. You know what I'm saying, Hunter? So what do you think about all that?
I understand your reason. Maybe it's all metaphorical.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a metaphor. You know, I think that they are going to unite over Adam's death. And that would be the Rose bringing them together, because at the end of the movie, the Rose dies, right? And that is the exact moment where they declare their love for each other and that they are a united front. You know what I mean? It's after the Rose finally wilts. And his sword's name is actually, it's Wilton Blush, right? And that's what the Rose is doing throughout the movie. It's wilting. So I think it's all very compelling when you look at the comparisons, but I don't know exactly where the show is leading. Like, we all think that she's going back to Adam to get Adam, but we don't really know, right? And so I think it's one of those things where only time can tell, but I want to hear more of your thoughts, Hunter. Are you just not... You haven't really, like, appreciated Disney movies as much as I have, though, so I don't know if this affects you as much.
Appreciated, obsessed over... You know, it's relative, Cal.
Okay, but what do you think? Do you think this is probable, at least, or it's likely?
Do I think that if Bumblebee were to happen, would Adam play a role in it? Yes.
But it's not just about Bumblebee. It's about, like, uniting their friendship and stuff.
Possible.
You know,
I mean,
like,
the only problem is that I don't think Yang is going over to Menagerie. I feel like...
She's not, though. Blake, we've talked about this. Blake is going to Mistral, because that is where the White Fang is. Don't you remember? Maybe. At the end, she's going to find Sienna. We've talked about this before.
Okay.
You've said this exact thing before. Anyway, can you rephrase your point now that you understand?
I agree. It's just, you know, I'm biased towards fan theories. I always have been. Well,
what if it comes true? Then what happens to you? You know what I mean? Like, does Hunter just explode? No, but because if it's about, like, you don't trust kind of the fan theories or you don't like them, what happens when they weren't theories and they're actually real? Do you just like, oh, okay, that plot's cool, but when a fan says that it's bullshit, you know what I mean? Like, how do you cope, Hunter?
How do I cope?
But yeah, I really, really like this theory. I think it takes enough elements from the original Beauty and the Beast movie without directly ripping it off, if that makes sense. Because I think that it would be easy to, like, categorize people and say that, you know, like, Sun is the charming half of Gaston, Adam's the bad half of Gaston, then Yang's the beast, she is Belle, and they fall in love. Like, that's just a bit too easy. I think that I like Adam being the Rose because the Rose isn't an actual character. It's more of a...
Metaphor?
Divine,
Metaphor?
Yes.
Metaphor.
I was gonna say, like...
No need to be pretentious, just say metaphor.
No, I mean... like, the rose is something that is divine intervention, right? It's a magical object that ends up bringing them together, but they were able to put that in a person and not make him, like, a magical fairy. They were able to make him a crazy-ass terrorist, and I really like that.
Alright.
You know what I mean? Like, they could have made it...
Yes, I just like your crazy, magical fairy, crazy-ass terrorist.
You know what I mean, though, right? Like, they could have, like, if they wanted to rip off the movie, they could have made an actual enchantress, but they wanted to do something, like, weird and outside the box, you know? I don't know, I like that. I really like it. Anyway, Tally, I like your theory. So let's give this theory. We've never done number ratings, but, like, what is your number rating for this theory?
I'll buy it.
But that's not a number! Just give me a number, Hunter. Like, out of 10.
Out of 10?
Yeah.
I'll give it like a 7 or an 8.
Oh, that was gonna be mine too. 8 out of 10. Good job, Tally. Anyway, guys, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. You guys should become Patreons. This is how you get all these magical Patreon paid videos, because you pay for them and I make them. And that's kind of what happens. Anyway, again, I hope that you guys enjoyed, and I guess we will see you later. Bye!